Good evening, Eric Pratt with Mesquite Metro Airport. And in tonight's quick briefing, I'd like to talk generally about the airport, give you all some basic stats about it, talk about who we serve, dive into our goals for fiscal year 2020, and then also talk about one of the proposed rate changes that we have coming up this next year, as well as FY21. Mesquite Metro Airport, it's a general aviation reliever airport on the far east side of our community. It was originally built in 1975, and in 1983, the city of Mesquite purchased the facility from the Hudson family and has been professionally managing and running the facility ever since. We have one runway, which is 6,000 feet in length, which is able to handle up to 100,000 pounds. So we're able to handle up to Gulfstream G650s, or for reference, it would be mainly your regional airliners we'd be able to actually handle on a daily basis. Last year we had 65,000 operations, which an operation is any time an aircraft touches the runway, whether it's for a takeoff or for a landing. And with that number, that puts us at number 264 in the nation out of your airports out there that have a control tower. And so we're about halfway, we're about at the midpoint whenever you look at operations at airports that have a control tower. Currently, we have 217 aircraft that are based on the field, and we know that we have some opportunities coming up in the near future with more facilities opening up in order to increase that number. Mesquite Metro Airport really is a regional asset as well as an asset for the community. And as I put in here, we are the business airport. Whenever you look at the airports around us, we offer more amenities, more services, as well as the runway that's available to handle a lot of these corporate traffic and corporate aircraft that are coming in. There it goes. And as I put here, we serve the business aviation community. These aircraft really are tools for your corporate executives and allow them to get into a community, hopefully make the deal that they're coming in for, and then leave on their time. And so it's a true benefit for them in order to have these assets for us to have this facility available. We also serve the recreational community, your hobbyists, your home builts, just those people who just love aviation and want to be involved with it. We also serve aeromedical operations, allowing them for another spot where they can either pick up or drop off those in need. And then also we serve as a good point for them to stop and purchase fuel, whether coming into the Metroplex or departing the Metroplex. We serve law enforcement. The Texas Department of Public Safety has a helicopter that's based on the field, as well as one aircraft, which they service about a 90-mile radius around the airport, where they support anybody that's on the ground that might need some sort of aerial surveillance. We support our military, which they serve, or we serve as a good fuel stop for them. Kind of keeps them out of the congestion of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, but also allows them to have more of a direct route, for wherever they're going. And actually, tomorrow there's a good chance that we might have about 6 Blackhawks coming in, which is always kind of a fun event to be involved with. We also protect the environment. One of the big things that we want to make sure is that what we do on a daily basis doesn't make its way into the waters, into the streams, and affect the community. And we serve our citizens by providing educational and vocational training opportunities through different organizations on the field. We attract, generate, and support business for the local economy. We generate taxes. In 2019, our estimated taxable value is about $16.6 million. And according to a 2018 study from the University of North Texas, the airport has a $22.7 million impact on the local economy. Part of that is creating jobs. In that study, it also stated that we have 281 jobs that are directly impacted by the airport, or they exist because of the airport. And we have room to grow. There's about 45 acres that we own on the southwest side of the airport, which with a little bit of redevelopment, we'd be ready to start putting in more facilities and more hangars. And then we're also looking at opportunities that we might have on the opposite side of the airport, kind of working with TxDOT and other city departments. As you can see here, I depicted the alignment of FM 190 that's proposed with the state. That is going to kind of cap that east side, but we're looking at what we might be able to capitalize on in the meantime. Now, looking at fiscal year 2020, these are some of the goals that we have, which first off is to complete a strategic plan. Council had asked for a long-term plan for the airport, which we're working with TxDOT Aviation right now in order to secure funds for an airport master plan. In the meantime, we're looking at doing a strategic plan to kind of guide us over the next 5 years or so as far as how we want the airport to be developed. We're also requesting federal funds to help with airport drainage improvements, as well as airport joint sealant for the concrete, getting all that secured and set up to where that infrastructure should last much longer, hopefully more than 40 years, which is the typical life for it. We're looking to update Chapter 3 of the City Code, which this is the airport minimum standards and rules and regulations. These were originally implemented in 1992 and have been somewhat modified throughout the years, and we're looking at basically kind of scrapping it, starting with a fresh document and building it from there. We want to continue to market the airport at national conferences by exhibiting in a booth, being there, being present, and just getting the good one-on-one, face-to-face opportunity with a lot of your pilots, a lot of your dispatchers, and those in the community. Pursue support for the installation of a radar display in the tower. We're looking at acquiring additional flight line service and airfield maintenance equipment. We're looking to fund a common hangar for airport use. Right now we have quite a few jets that have been coming in. They've been asking for hangar space, and unfortunately we're just completely full at this point. And so we're looking for ways that we can hopefully capitalize and either attract those people to continue to come in or attract them to hopefully base with us in the future. And then we're also working on removing unwanted vegetation in Taxiway Alpha's safety area. This is a safety project that we have going on where we have actually removed unwanted weeds, unwanted vegetation that's attracting birds into the runway safety area. And so this is just an expansion of that project in order to now include Taxiway Alpha. And then we're also looking at standardizing as well as adjusting our hangar rates. And so what we have up here is two different rates. One is for fiscal year 20, the other one is for fiscal year 21. And we're looking at kind of stair-stepping into what we feel is the appropriate rates for our facilities. Now in FY20, we're looking at standardizing them. So that way, if you have, for example, a 40-foot T hangar on one side of the airport, it's going to be charged the same rate as a 40-foot T hangar on another portion of the airport. And so this is our way of kind of getting to that point. And then in FY21, we're looking at actually making that jump in order to get up to what is the market rate for these facilities. And in preparation for this, the airport staff, we did an analysis to look at what the hangar rates are in the Metroplex. And then we also hired a third-party consultant to come in, verify the numbers, and provide their comments. And that's how we came to these numbers that we are proposing today. And with these charts, the red line is the average. And then the green lines are the proposed rates for Mesquite as we move into FY20 as well as FY21. And if you'd like, I do have additional slides that can go into those, but at this time I'm opening it up for any questions.
Perfect, Mayor Pro Tem.
I have a question. So the people who have hangars out there now, they have, how long is their contracts? Do they have a contract that they've signed with the city for so long?
They are month-to-month contracts, the vast majority of these facilities. Whenever you start looking at your corporate hangars, we do negotiate with those individuals for longer term deals.
So we don't have anyone that's out there now that, you know, if we were to put these new rates in, I mean, they would have a contract right now? Or?
With our current agreement, it does say that we have the ability to adjust the rate as needed.
Okay.
And again, everybody's basically on just a 30-day deal that they renew by sending in a check at the end of the month.
Okay, thank you.
Very good, Eric. Any other questions on this presentation? While they're thinking, have you done the numbers, say in year 20 or 21, what those increases would net at the airport?
The impact to the airport is about $190,000. Which a lot of that is going to go towards improving the infrastructure, purchasing more equipment, hiring more staff in order to allow us to basically get things the way that we want them to be.
And I know years past, it's been quite some time. I don't think we're interested anymore, but there was talk of a 7,000-foot runway. But that's, to your point, is that anything that's even considered any longer?
In 2012, the FAA actually changed their design standards for what's considered your runway safety area. And it used to be that they would allow for a road or for houses to be in one of your protected areas. Now they're saying that that's no longer a possibility. And with that, it really did cap the length that our runway could be extended to where we might be able to go about 300 more feet to the south, but that's about it.
Which wouldn't change any of the aircraft coming in and out anyway.
It wouldn't change it.
Correct. That's good news for people that live out in Creek Crossing. Well, yes, sir.
I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
When you're talking about the runoff, the water runoff and stuff, is that just around the runway area, or is that taking the studies going on for the water that's running off of the airport down towards Lawson Road, down that way?
So the airport is actually classified as an industrial facility with TCEQ. So with that, all 448 acres we're responsible for. So once a quarter, we check our outfalls. We have quarterly inspections. We actually do a large annual inspection every year. And we work with our tenants to make sure that they're not storing oils or other hazardous materials outside in order to make sure that we don't violate our stormwater pollution prevention plan.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Allen.
Thank you for your presentation, Eric. Wanted to ask you about flights coming in. Is there still an increase of more flights from aviation schools around the Metroplex area? Because I think a while back there was that increase taking place, and more schools using it for flying in, flying out. And how do you compare that also with new business that's coming into the airport?
So we have seen an increase as of recently. With the runway closure that we had earlier this year, everything slowed down to almost a halt. We've seen our numbers slowly start coming back up to where they were prior. I know that we have several flight schools that do come in quite a bit, but we have noticed that several jets are starting to make their way into the area almost on a regular basis, and we don't know if they're here for business, what they're looking at, but we have seen an uptick on both sides.
Great. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your work.
Thank you, Mr. Pratt.
Thank you.